I forgot to unmute. Okay, I'll be honest, I'm probably not gonna go super long today because my voice, my throat still feels surprisingly like garbage. I'm highly beginning to suspect that I might have caught something from one of my teammates for a programming project, which is highly not fun. Although I kind of do consider it to be a little unlikely considering, well, one, the guy who was sick was not in class yesterday and was the reason why we couldn't even do our presentation yesterday. Anyways, I technically did start this like 2 or 3 streams ago, and I really just kind of brushing in shadows loosely right now, since I kind of just want to get the general shadows in before I even try going a lot more heavily detailed. And now that I think about it, probably would have been a little better to just like go mid to high, something like 70 or 60, 70%, 70 or 60% on this instead of having it go full. Also, don't ask why this is rotated weirdly. I've tried fixing it. It will continue being weird. And I think I spent enough time trying to at least set this up so it doesn't display weirdly any more. At least I don't have to go the slightly more convoluted method of how I've previously been running my art streams. In other news, my cousin has recommended before that I actually do stuff like what's it called? Sell the brushes I made. I mean, one of my friends though, who's vaguely interested in digital art, has considered coming. Has mentioned that he is interested in me possibly like making a custom watermark brush for him. Although that was actually because one of the signatures of my artwork is, if you look closely, you'll see my name repeated ad nauseum in the background. I actually kind of do that because art theft is a horrible thing, and people who do that are lame. But basically, it was actually an idea I sort of loosely took from another artist who ran into a similar problem, where their signature was removed from their artwork, but when it was reposted under someone else's account. But the thing is, you could tell that who the original artist was because their name was literally embedded in the background of the piece. So I figured, you know what, that is a cool way of watermarking it. Then again, my policy has been, look, if you want to scrape without my consent, it is only a you problem if you... It is now... I did leave this warning sign saying that my stuff has bite in it. Do not approach the attack dog, but if you choose to approach the attack dog and get shot in the process, well, that sounds more like a you problem. Skill issue, if you will. Also, right now I'm just not being overly concerned with, accuracy and specifics quite yet, because I'm just trying to focus a bit more on where's the light hitting. Because the thing is, that is something I still technically can go back and correct. It's just, for me, it feels a lot easier to have a vague idea of what everything kind of looks like before I get into the nitty-gritty. I mean, some of the pre-done stuff will look obviously a lot better than the actual, other parts. I'll be honest, I feel like drawing the tail is kind of gonna be a bit of a mess, regardless of what I do. But the thing is, this is only just like one stage of how I render things out. I figured it'd just be a bit of an easier approach if I took it from, okay, where is light not hitting, and then sketching the shadows from there. Because at least what this phase is me sketching in shadows. Ooh. I do not remember. Okay. The heck is this? Oh, that's it. Okay, so I did draw all of that on one layer. Okay, good to know, because I do not remember always how I set things up. It probably also doesn't help that it's been a while since I actually touched this thing. Because I end up spending a bit more time goofing on another side thing, which is something I only really did as a joke. And basically was to put one of my characters into a maid dress. I just never specified they would be in wolf form when they did it. I just did that because I thought it would be funny. If anything, it looks like you shove a dog into a costume, and they are incredibly unsure why you are doing this to them. Over-blended that, or at least blended that into a place I didn't want it to go. The main reason why I was late was because I was having trouble figuring something out, and through trial and error, I kind of do have a thing that does work. I do have a process for it that does work, it's just not ideal because sometimes it will simply fail and there's not much I can do about it. But hey, I will say the reason why this is happening is because I still prefer Linux to Windows, and I will continue with that till the day I die. No, in all seriousness, this though, I've had multiple problems with Windows, the least of which was just trying to reset up OBS in Windows after OBS did something that broke OBS. I swear, I think I spent more time troubleshooting that for when I was trying to figure out how to stream Shernova than I did actually doing stuff for tonight. then I think the other reason why I'm more inclined to like Linux is because I kind of have to use Linux by default for most of my software development related things. Literally, the only reason why I'm even keeping Windows on my boot is because there are several things that are just slightly easier to do with Windows. One of them being OpenVPN, although now that I have a PDF explaining how to use OpenVPN from a command line, that is significantly easier than it makes a lot more sense. So there is a probability that I won't even try that anymore. I mean, right now the only other reason I even have to switch over to my Windows boot is to play games with anti-cheat that is not compatible with Linux. For example, a few first-person shooters that some VTuber people I know like to play. And that's largely because it just makes direct calls to the kernel. And the way that Wine works is that it makes... And the way that Wine works is that it interprets calls made to the Windows calls, translates them to POSIX, and then sends those to the kernel. And from my understanding of how most anti-cheats work, basically they're sending those things straight to the kernel in a way that is not that when Linux cannot handle. And so it just ends with an error and then the game forcibly shuts down. So basically not something I or really want and can do much about. I do know there are some games that you can still run on Linux that also have anti-cheat built into it. I think Genshin is one of them. In fact, I've played Genshin on my Windows boot multiple times. But basically, it is kind of complicated. So while yes, I am a Linux enjoyer and I would not recommend it for the average person, it's just the main reason I prefer it is because I am a developer and I don't mind spending hours at a time debugging my own things. Like, I spent an hour trying to get UX Play to work, which is actually how I'm currently streaming my iPad to my laptop. I mean, I do know it was working. It was just more a case of I kept on resetting it because I was trying to figure out, okay, why is it sometimes working and sometimes not? I kind of have well, actually, it's a bit more complicated. Turns out there were several things happening. Although one of them I'm still unsure of, one of them I do know for sure was a particular plugin that UX Play does rely on in order to function called GStreamer. And basically, it was having a hard time trying to... Basically, it was defaulting to using some hardware that my laptop technically doesn't have, so I would have to remove a particular thing that was forcing that to happen. So now it works just fine most of the time, as long as I'm not excessively restarting things. Or at least that is kind of what I found so far led to the most issues. What I will say is that I am a weirdo who is willing to experiment with a lot of things for science and curiosity, and that is probably is one of the reasons why the IT department, on-campus IT department probably is very hesitant about taking on many computer science students for work study. because we will break things just to satiate our own curiosity. Or am I thinking the software engineers? I don't know, I'm friends with software engineers. I am friends with we sing in choir together. What I will say is that it's an ongoing joke between us that we will attempt to quote-unquote kill each other at the beginning, in the middle, and towards the end of every class we have together for no reason other than we just want to commit chaos. I think only one guy has caught on that. Only one guy really ever tries to jokingly involve himself in our silly little game. More than half the time it ends with one or both of us dramatically falling to the ground because why the heck not? Yeah, I'm gonna need some water. But hey, all in good fun and chaos. Need to erase that little thing. Oh yeah, and other news, beginning to do more work for my capstone project. We are doing a fitness app. Why? Because that is what our teacher decided we are doing. What I do know though is that, the only reason... All I know is that I'm kind of just meh on a lot of AI-related topics though, largely because of plenty of unethical use cases. Also, I feel like a lot of things are overinflated for what they actually are. And just some, quite frankly, dumb arguments I've gone into with people who I feel are kind of not really understanding my point. Like, one time when I got an argument with a teacher over whether or not, prompters are artists, I said they cannot call themselves artists, and then we somehow got into a spot, and that somehow led to an argument on whether or not AI is art. Like, that's not the point of the argument. The point is, I do not consider prompters to be artists. Because to me, an artist is someone who goes through the entire process of art. The prompter kind of just skips it entirely in favor of just yanking a lever over and over. Because here's the thing, technically, you can set all the parameters you want. At the end of the day, you're just setting in parameters and pulling a lever. I mean, a programmer can write a program to pull levers for them, but then you're calling them a programmer, not an artist. Wait. Why did I just try to take a sip of tea out of an empty mug? My brain is all over the place today. The light coming vaguely from the front. The shadow might only really start at around here. it would help if I was on the right brush. To reflect that, I need to... redo select. Black. Words. I don't understand them. And I'm going to blend these back in a little because it doesn't need to be that sharply well defined of a shadow. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to re-enable some things that I was working on. I was actually having a bit of fun experimenting around with chatbots. One of the classes I am taking right now is network programming. My eventual goal is just to hopefully use it to make like a silly little chatbot that I can using my Discord server, because I'm actually still building that. There are just some things that I'm a little hesitant about, largely because I know exactly what kind of things just being open to roleplay has a tendency to attract. But here's the thing, the main reason why I'm even considering opening a Discord server is that I'm a lot more inclined to be active on Discord and smaller communities than just posting stuff on the open internet outside of like streams and the occasional video when I feel motivated enough to actually edit together a time-lapse video. And by edit together a time-lapse video, I mean, what's it called? I've already forgotten what I was thinking. But basically, I've already... How many times do I lose my train of thought just randomly thinking about... Basically, the main reason why I'm not particularly inclined to ever go on most social media sites is because because I just never really could get into them. Like, I'm a lot more willing to spend time on... I'm a bit more willing to spend time on, like, live content and whatever, but not really on actual social media platforms, because I just have enough... I'm not really into drama. And I feel like just existing on any social media platform is asking for drama to multiply by 10 million. And I also just don't feel like constantly being drowned in the sea of negativity, because let's face it, negativity sells a lot better than people pretend it does. And I'm just not a person who really thrives off negativity. I mean, yeah, I do talk randomly about stuff like melancholy, but the thing is, it's a particular type of negativity that I don't particularly mind, and that is the one that just acknowledges the ups and downs of life, doing life things. aka what I like to call melancholy. I feel like I erased too much of this side of the face. All I know is that my mind will have a tendency to wander to the strangest places at 3 a.m. See how about adding a highlight, at least some lighting to the side. Also, I don't think this side of the face is that dramatically cast in darkness, so I'm gonna like loosely brighten it up a little for carving some more shadows back in, mostly on like the neck and lower parts of the face. And I suppose like the very edges, like there, I think that looks a little better. Maybe just softly remove some down here, like the chin area, and definitely where this pencil is just covering. Pushing too hard sometimes. I will say one of the things that I kind of still want to get better at is drawing less. Like, the main reason my VTuber model actually does have like these sort of goggle glasses type things is because I'm kind of just stuck wearing glasses, especially if I want to be legally allowed to drive. And I'll be honest, I feel like drawing glasses is a lot harder than I thought it would be. Like, sometimes it feels incredibly easy, and other times it's like, what the heck am I missing, and why does it still look hurt? Right now, I'm just trying to carve out like eye shape thing. I feel like I just made it worse, so I'm probably gonna end up like blending some of it out. Huh. Like, I have, like, hiccups or something that's just getting worse. I'm gonna lightly bring some of this back because technically it is part of a curved surface. And all of these, and then going to draw in like a highlight. Although, I'll be honest, I feel like this is going to be kind of harder because it's actually on top of something instead of just, it's on top of something transparent. Maybe a little thinner. Wait. Did I draw the eyes on one layer too? Oh gosh dang it, I need to... Okay, I forgot that I'm also going to need to do shading for the eyelashes because I actually made them a part of the actual drawing. Oh gosh dang it. Okay, yeah, that is going to be a problem I am going to have to figure out. Because I was not thinking when I made that layer. First, I'm gonna make this the reference. Okay. Now, where is... Here it is. Going to make this the reference. And I'm going to select these. And I'm just going to completely redo them. Like, completely redo them, I mean, like, just add a little bit of highlight to them. I've never really done anything overtly special with eyelashes. Then again, I don't really do anything overtly special in terms of makeup for myself either. Like, I don't know how to put this, but I don't know if I've even discussed this on stream, but I have technically gone into a fight with a grandparent over my wardrobe choices. I'm sorry, I just want to enjoy my silly t-shirt. Anyways, speaking of pets, and I finally remembered to update question of the week. I'm kind of biased towards... Oh, gosh dang it. I am kind of biased towards reptiles and amphibians, but that's largely because I have a fur allergy. Even if I really did want a cat or a dog, which I still kind of do, I can't really have them because existing in the same space at least will be a major inconvenience, at least for a very long time. It's to the point where, I mean, I'm not deathly allergic of them as far as I currently know, but it will basically wreck me for an entire day. And I will not be a happy camper. I mean, the reason why I even know this to be kind of like a certain fact, though, is because I've had to drop out of an archery tournament because I just kept on sneezing and my allergies kept getting worse and worse. And the only factor and the only major difference between anything we had done in recent events was visit a friend who happened to have a pet dog. I mean, by that point in time, I already knew I was allergic to cats. I had pet a friend's cat a few times. The thing is, I immediately washed my hands afterwards and suffered no extreme side effects. When I didn't, I was sneezing up a storm and could barely breathe. It was not fun. But I am an enjoyer of snakes. I've seen plenty of cute little snake videos, although I will admit lizards are also a valid option for me. My mom is already aware that it is more than likely if she does get a grandchild out of me, it will likely either be a scale baby or an adopted child, because I'll be honest, I kind of also sincerely doubt I'm going to find a romantic partner anytime soon. That I'm not really interested in looking either. Honestly, I think the only person in my family who would care about whether or not I have a romantic partner would be one of my grandparents. And as much as I love her, I hate to say it, she's the same one who I kind of got in an argument with over my fashion choices. Actually, just speaking of my choice in appearance, I once did get irrationally angry at someone for saying, "Remember to smile," and talking to my dad afterwards. It is more than likely that she was actually talking to herself instead of me. I just got ridiculously mad. I'm willing to admit that. It was just... Then again, I was in high school. I had recently learned about the wonderful syndrome that is RBF. I'm not an actively giggly person. I will laugh at dumb things, but I'm a lot more but most of the time my default setting, according to my aunt, has me looking like a monk. And I mean like one of those serious old-timey, serious teacher monks. Although one thing I will definitely say though is that I cannot wait for my throat to stop feeling like garbage. I don't know why it is. I've been drinking water and drinking an excessive amount of tea and it still feels like garbage. And I'm also realizing I didn't finish putting shadows on this pencil. You couldn't tell it's based off the Apple Pencil. Yeah, one thing I am considering doing again is just like posting an art raffle, even though I rarely post to Twitter. I don't even post most of my finished stuff to Twitter anymore. I refuse to call it by what it's called now. What I will say though is I'm pretty sure my, at least one of my teachers is an Elon fanboy. There are several matters where I'm just certain we are probably not going to agree on. then again, like, the main reason why I'm even in programming and computer science is because I figured it was a lot more stable of a job field with better job security than, say, actual game dev jobs. But I will also continue to apologize for just how sporadic my schedule has been. Like, I probably should actually just switch my Thursday and my Tuesday and Thursday streams to being morning streams. And that's just largely because I don't know if... because my evening time is a lot less flexible. I mean, I technically originally did have my mornings a bit more open to be flexible for other things since outside course work stuff can be time consuming, especially when I'm working on a capstone project, a research project, and will probably also eventually be working on an honors related capstone project. This weekend though, I probably won't be doing a Saturday stream because one, I have to conduct interviews for several people coming to school, and also my scholarship, one of my more larger scholarships is contingent on me helping out with that. And two, it's also a concert weekend, which means not only I'm not only dressed fancy all day, I need to be in concert blacks by 6:30. Well, in concert blacks on stage by 6:30. Or basically, I'm not really gonna have time I'm gonna have at most from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. to do anything else I want to do, except most of that time is probably going to be preoccupied by me reading the entrance papers for the people I'm interviewing, as well as looking over some of their extracurriculars and other activities. Because I do plan on asking questions about that. Because, interviews and all that. What I will say is that it feels simultaneously more and less stressful to be on the other side of an interview as an interviewer. But the thing is, I will probably get incredibly frustrated But having been an interviewer, I'm also now going to end up being a lot more critical of bad practices in interviewing job candidates. Because I feel like with my expectations as they are now, at least in how I've done interviews, because this isn't the first time I've conducted these or at least helped with these interviews. But the thing is, an interview is supposed to be a conversational dialogue. The entire idea of just an AI conduct-led interview feels incredibly, shall I say, dumb to me. Because it's kind of hard to have a real dialogue when most, at least from what I'm looking at in terms of how these quote-unquote AI interviews are run, is that you're basically just speaking into a camera for an hour and that's basically it. I'll be honest, I don't think you're going to get really high quality candidates because not everyone is a master at yapping at a camera for an hour or two. I'm 47 minutes into the stream, and I've gone silent multiple times because I have to make up the topics as I go. I mean, I do have a loose idea of an outline of what I do want to talk about, but having the entire job filling a job vacancy entirely depend on like just that interview process, I feel like kind of just makes finding the right person a lot harder. Because if anything, you're probably going to inevitably cut out a high quality candidate simply because you decided to bog them down with low quality processes. Then again, I suppose HR also has to justify their existence somehow. And it's also why the entire idea that you need to know someone to get anywhere in an industry has become so prominent. Because at this rate, that's basically, it's either get lucky and pray that an AI doesn't just send you through the interview ringer for 7 rounds only to ghost you at the last second, or have someone give you an in so that you can actually get a job. Which is literally how my mom and I have done jobs in the past. I think the only job I've done on my own, I also did get through a personal connection because I just happened to offhandedly mention to one of the pastors of campus chapel that 1, I was looking for a job, and 2, I had experience in live stream related stuff. Like, I don't even know what even led us to that topic, but I was just talking about some of the stuff I've been working on in art because, well, she's the sponsor for one of the choirs I'm in that is also providing me scholarship money. And 2, she's just really fun to talk to. But what I will say is that job is paying me $10 an hour, which is $2.50 more than I would have made had I gotten that IT job. Because apparently campus ministry teams make more than chapel. But I'm gonna chalk that one up to just the university valuing religious life a lot more than IT. And then again, just looking at some of the campus websites, it just screams, let's just say one of the teachers who's teaching me network programming, apparently he was the guy who developed the university's original site and the president. And this was like back when the internet was in its infancy. The funny thing is, apparently the president didn't even know that they already had a website, and when the president at the time's daughter brought it up, apparently they decided to drop $10,000 to get someone to quote-unquote professionally design a website that, according to my professor, looked a lot worse than the one he'd built. So the university's out $10,000. They already have a website that actually functions pretty well. And now I go to several other university web apps, and they are, quite frankly, terrible. I'm not saying that I know how to redesign them. It's just that they, compared to a lot of what I know can be done, these university websites and web apps are not that well executed except for the main site, which even then is prone to its own little quirks and annoyances. But hey, what can you do? Alright, on to not all of that, but this. Not that! This. There we go. Erase all of that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I think I'm just gonna make myself a pot of hot salt water tomorrow and drink that when I get up, because I don't have to be anywhere until 9:15. Because it's either that or I take some Dayquil and hope that fixes it. I don't know if I have any Mucinex lying around here. No, all I have is Albert. I would show him off on stream, but that requires me to have a... That would require some things I am not willing to do for the sake of my own anonymity. My own privacy. Like that, I'm sorry, this just feels like it's oddly sharp in a way I don't particularly like. Alright, now on to actually fixing some of the issues, or at least some lighting things with this. Back curve in a little and have this be an actual shadow. Because this is technically straighter, so I'm just gonna do that so it only looks like it's dipping in a little. Soften that up a little. That was the eraser. Alright, I think that's looking a little better. What would help even more is if this were not just playing sideways. I've not been able to figure out how to fix that. Even if I leave the canvas and come back, it will still be sideways. And one thing though that I kind of do want to do again, it's make a more seamless patterns, just because I find them to be fun. I'm not kidding when I say this, but I literally made an entire custom seamless pattern just for the release of a video game that I'm not sure if I have posted it to. I mean, I know I've posted to itch, but I don't know if I even have my itch store linked to my card. I'll be honest, I think there's not much I can do to fix that because it was just a weird point to cut off at that I wasn't really thinking about. Who does the original sketch look like? Oh wait, I can't see it because it's buried under so many layers. And that is also buried under several layers. How many layers do I have to go before I can actually... apparently it's just turned them on too. Yeah, next time I'm cutting it off, like, up there. Instead of down there. Now, where was I? Alright, I was still trying to fix that. Why do I have a group selected? Alright, I'm gonna work on fixing this arm. I'm gonna start by removing a lot of light from back there. A lot of light from down here. What I probably should also spend some more time doing, trying other VTubers from the Discord server I'm on. Because I'll be honest, I kind of do enjoy a lot of their designs. It's just that I only have a kind of particular ability set. Although I think by just drawing other people's characters, I can expand on that ability set. I like a lot. then again, I'm always someone who's weirdly just been constantly jumping between both the technical and artistic side of a lot of things. Like, in terms of streaming related stuff, I kind of have developed a lot of expertise simply because I do a lot of trial and error things by myself, and then pull that knowledge in whenever I'm doing AV stuff for Chapel, or whenever problems related to that come up in help areas. I am considering doing those, just like PNG Tuber raffle again. Or not again. I actually never... The last time I did a raffle, I think, was more than a year ago. And the thing is, I'm also a bit more picky about doing freebies, largely because I kind of don't really just want to do these same people over and over again. I mean, I'm willing to draw my own characters over and over again because, one, they're my children, and two, I love them, even if I do put them through excruciating amounts of torture in the form of roleplay. Or to be more specific, Danganronpa style role-playing games. Although, what I will say is, if you are at all interested in learning a bit more about Danganronpa, one of the VTubers I have collaborated with before is currently doing a playthrough of Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, which is the first in the series. She recently played through I believe she played through the Chapter 1 trial today. I would love to see more of what she does. Unfortunately, I have most of the classes I have, I can only, with my current class schedule, I can only stick around on some of the streams that I do want to catch for like an hour. And you know what I keep forgetting to check and see? I keep forgetting to pop out YouTube. I mean, not that I really pay that much attention to chat half the time anyways. I don't know why. I feel like I get more people chatting whenever I'm in the middle of something big, like a like in the middle of a boss fight, whenever I'm playing stuff like Genshin. And I mean the kind of chatters who are just like asking me questions. Like, can you not see I'm busy? Or do you just want to advertise yourself? Because I'll be honest, you do run a higher probability of just getting outright banned if you are trying to pitch to me in the middle of a massive boss fight. Or, I mean, then again, I'm probably gonna lean a bit more towards timing out people who try to solicit their services for upwards of a week. Actually, no, not upwards of a week, a minimum of a week. This is a hand that is mostly facing down. Alright, I think that looks a little better, although this arm probably gonna move. There. There we go, that looks a little better. And now for what I consider to be one of the harder parts, which is this tail, because I kind of made it really under-detailed. Like that. Way too much. I'll say the area directly behind things definitely goes poof. Or at least poof in terms of the light. Like back here though, a little less so. And then the way shadows work, I think. Probably gonna lighten this area back here up by a lot. Just to imply cast shadow. Then I'm gonna go in and add more cast shadow from her. You know what I really need to do is just do more bird and texture studies. Because I'll be honest, this is kind of hard. I should probably just do more studies in general. Spend so much time working on my own stuff. I might do a silly one time and just draw a bunch of animals. Honestly, it was actually kind of a miracle that I ended up drawing a wolf and then a few guys that I did not end up hitting the locust. I'm still struggling when it comes to trying to draw male characters. Anyways, time to put in a bit stronger highlight on the hair. Okay, I did not mean to do that. I meant to do that a little. And draw a little eye highlight. Kind of like that. Maybe darken this one a little. Okay, I think that looks pretty alright. I think this highlight is a bit too much. So I'm gonna like pull it a little. Alright, I think this highlight I need to bring out or at least I need to be a little louder? I don't know what word to use in this scenario here. Bolder? Alright, now onto something I'm kind of having a hard time with, which is just this little bit of ear fluff. How did that jump up to be so big? And then I'm going to add a little bit of highlighter, or highlight. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to add some highlight here as well. Alright, and then the shadows here, I think I have to push back a little bit more, like that. Okay, I think that looks a little better. Here, I'm gonna lightly paint on more highlight. Being sure to blend them in a little, because I don't want them to stand out like sore thumbs. How does this look overall? I think it looks okay overall. Because the other thing I do after this is what I like to consider a bit more annoying and tedious. But what I will do is take this, invert it, multiply, and that just kind of makes a lot more sharper lights and shadows. Although this I will significantly decrease in comparison to the highlight in comparison to the lights. Sometimes I will remove it, sometimes I will. Sometimes this is also a part that I tend to mess around with a bit more, depending on what I feel is necessary. Also is pretty good for catching weird problems like that. And by weird problems, I mean magic glowy. Magic little glowy spot over here. Which honestly kind of just clashes with lighting. Set to max, so duplicate, invert, invert, multiply. Okay, I think that looks a lot better. And then at this phase, I also like going to the main shadow layer and actually adding in more shadows, basically with a heavier focus on augment occlusion. Basically, most of the places where lines meet, adding more depth to some shadows that couldn't get enough depth because they were already had all the light removed, but even less light would get to where some of them are. For example, some of these shadows back here, or this entire ear. But right here, I am going to actually go in and kind of give the shadows their own independent thing. And basically the way I'm doing this is with what is essentially a straight down shadow. So I think to more easily see that, I'm just going to completely turn off other lighting layers. What would probably help in seeing a lot of this is have a kind of neutral color sitting in between all of this. The layer. Alright, back to working on this. Augment occlusion. I'm going to also make sure all those are selected so I can properly fill in and shade the rest of this. A bit of the curve. Now with the curves, I'm also being a lot more loose and defining. Largely because, one, it's a little harder to nail, and two, it's also just add a bit more depth to everything. The only areas where I'm kind of going a little harder, at least in terms of augment occlusion, are folds. Well, folds and overlaps. For example, this area is overlapping a lot with other things. I also tend to do it last because without a decent idea of where the light is, it can get, at least in my head, a little easy to get lost in. I'm sorry, I'm just confused because that feels a lot brighter than it should be. Anyways, moving on to blending out this guy. Adding in that shadow that would otherwise be incredibly easy to miss. I think here I can probably drag this up a little bit more. Probably should have selected everything surrounding that hand. Right. Oh, missed that. Then I'm going to increase the amount of shadows here because there are a lot. This one to me a lot more to talk with, I guess. Reference. Add. And then go back to here. and make sure I'm on the right layer, I guess. Gosh dang it. I always have a hard time with that selecting that area. Or at least tiny areas. Or even more. Softly erase that. Is it erase or is it add back? Because technically white is show through and black is don't show at all, and the eraser just erases it. I guess I'm thinking in terms of light, which is why it can feel a little confusing. And I'm also sort of, my main approach to rendering is sort of how I would approach painting, because technically the first bit of art I ever really did involved a lot of painting. And with paint, it's a lot easier to build up lighter colors than move progressively to darker colors. Switches to the mid-gray. Okay, fine. Just having the option to switch to a mid-tone gray, which is what I currently have set for everywhere else, it feels a little easier to quote-unquote erase. Now, here, I'm just gonna slightly over again. Have them like sort of half meet. Oh, this area and definitely this area. Alright. I think I'm gonna quickly select this and okay, turn that off and turn that off. I didn't like how that turned out. Anyways, back to more shading. I'm going to completely erase this, and technically it is supposed to be a bit of a glowy object. Hence why it's not in an outline. I probably should have made that on its own separate layer. Well, I actually also could have just erased the shadow on it completely. And it probably would have been fine. You know what? I'm probably gonna stream for like 2 hours, largely because I think social credit battery has run out. Dang it. Please just switch back. There we go. Okay, why does that feel like a lot darker than this here? Oh, probably it's because the contrast there is just that much higher. I hate it when I feel like I have to sneeze and nothing happens, because that's literally what just happened right now. I thought I was about to sneeze. the heck? Oh, there we go. That was just being weird. Please. Sometimes I forget that I don't need to double click some things sometimes. Go back here, add border shadow. Oh yeah, the other reason why I draw colors the way, or at least lights the way I do, is also because of something I noticed while just looking at lights and AV related stuff in general. Sometimes when you have multiple light sources, there's sometimes multiple different shadows. So it feels a bit more accurate to have a bunch of separate shadow layers that are just simply created by having multiple light sources, which is why my layers function the way they are, if you will. And also kind of why I leave ambient occlusion for last, so I can see where certain things need to be added. Or at least it feels easier for me to see where shadows need to be, quote-unquote, expanded. Of course, all the layers, or at least the shadow layers, will be... Actually, just all the layers in general, I will probably end up balancing the opacity of later. I feel like I'm just hiccuping a lot. Which can get incredibly annoying really quickly. Especially when it just does not stop. Even if you try all the tricks in the book to get it to stop. Sometimes I just forget how many little areas I have in just really little details. You see, because I keep on thinking in terms of what I'm doing is basically erasing light, I keep on hitting that eraser even though I'm not doing, even though I'm drawing in shadows. Alright. Now onto the rest of this arm. I'm just gonna quickly loosely select all these, make this a little big, and then really poorly just like outline all of it just to get the basics kind of in. Then go back to this one and add in this shadow. Now let's go back to this one and actually work on more detailing. And then blur that out a little. Now I'm gonna just gently increase the depth around here because of how the sleeves kind of just roll. Maybe darken that corner a bit more, and this one too, because technically it is closer to this side of the body. Well, this entire area is a little closer together, so not as much light bounces around in there. And here, sharp shadow. Lower, I'm going to probably be more gradiented. I'm freaking in the right gradiented in cloth. That's what I mean. Do-do-do-do. Now I'm going to also kind of better define some of these shapes. There we go. And now onto my least favorite part of everything, which is almost always the hands. Because I swear it just feels hard no matter what I do. I have reference of them sitting in front of me every day. It still feels almost impossible to get them right half the time. I'm not kidding when I say that. Why am I even bothering with getting this up close and detailed with them? I don't even know. It's not like you can even really see it from this zoomed out. Alright. And now to a slightly even harder part, the tail. I'm going to start real basic with remembering to switch back to the right color. This is just going to more or less follow the shape of the arm. Until about there. Now I'm going to increase the size of the brush to gently sort of follow the overall shape. And here I'm probably also going to increase. There we go, like that. Anyways, I'm gonna turn back all these layers back on in, because now for the kind of harder part, which is just balancing all of these and then adding in some final highlights. And by adding in final highlights, I mean color dodge. Because the first thing I almost always do is lighten the shadow layers, and since I'm only using one light, I'm not gonna be as harsh with it. What I am going to do is duplicate both of these layers and merge them together before... Where is Alpha? Alpha lock, and then I'm going to just make that, I'm just gonna pick a random color and fill it. For setting it to I mean, technically, I just needed to... Oh wait, no. I just need this to be... kind of its own weird separate thing that only exists as a... And then select... Select... And then... Mask, and then I can just delete that. Now I'm gonna try something. This will probably be a little easier to test with all these off. Okay, yeah, that works as I hope it did. So basically what I'm going to be doing with this is adding a little bit of extra color to the shadows. I'm gonna go with... It is kind of like a weird yellowy green. So I'm gonna lean a bit more towards yellowy orange. Slightly desaturated and decolored. And then I'm going to set this to color dodge. Of course, I'm still experimenting around with like how I prefer doing certain things. You know what I probably should have done? Clear this. And clear this. Select. Fill. Select. Fill. And invert. Now, invert. You know, it would help if I was on the right layer to check if what I'm doing was even done correctly. Basically what I'm doing is just adding a bit of warm color to the edges of some of the shadows. Or at least that's kind of the goal. Well, I think it makes a bigger difference in areas that have softer shadows. Or at least softer shadows that immediately blend into darker shadows. And for me, art is largely just messing around and seeing what works, in a sense. Because I do know how I kind of would prefer the final piece to turn out. But half the fun for me is also getting there. Because then again, you never know what you're going to learn along the way. Because what is life if not a series of trial and error? Some areas benefit from it a little less than others. I think I'm also gonna call it a night here too. Because my arm is dead. I have to be up at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Wait, no. I have to be up at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I forgot I have a meeting. Anyways, thank you everyone who dropped by. Here's to making art. See you later.